Wartime communication is a different ball game altogether. That telecom now has become horizontal.
Okay.
And all other verticals can derive benefit out of telecom. The telecom space is highly regulated, whereas OTT is absolutely not regulated. OTTs, they generate about 70 to 80% of the traffic which we have to carry on our networks. Now they don't contribute anything, but they derive benefit out of these networks. When you are planning 5G networks, this is the first type of technology where human beings and machines talk to each other. Some people have already started saying that AI is overhyped. Phone has become, addictive.
So there's no calculation?
Even if you're not getting a call, you then go online and see, "Arey, kya hai?"
So General Kochaar, thank you so much, one, for coming around, for doing this podcast. I don't know how you'll enjoy this going through, but I hope you do.
I hope so too.
You hope so too. But India Mobile Congress was a real gift, 2024. I think the 8th edition, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Yes, it's come out really engaging for people who've been here. How has it appealed to you? Because you guys are the part of the creator of this whole summit. How does it feel?
It feels very nice to hear good comments about IMC.
Also because you're sitting there, so I'm saying that.
Yeah, so because we also have seen it grow.
Yes.
And every year it is reaching a new height. So that is something which is very encouraging. And we see a lot of, last year we saw a lot of government buy-in, this time we see a lot of international buy-in. So that is very encouraging.
Is it also because we are first time setting it up with the World Telecommunication Standard Assembly, so it has come a coincidental collaborative moment for both IMC and WTSA?
Well, yes and no. IMC has its own brand value.
Yes.
WTS that has its own brand value. And really speaking, except for the inauguration, there was nothing common.
Yes.
But yes, footfalls definitely increase.
It's a cross engagement
Yes.
for both the
And
summits.
it's a related subject.
It's a related subject. Coming to relatability, you just mentioned, how are you related to telecom world or technology? Because I find them go quite synonymous now.
Okay.
Telecom leads technology, technology leads telecom. How do you relate to it?
So how I am related is I joined the army in Corps of Signals as a second lieutenant, and I spent 39 and a half years in the army, and I rose to the rank of Lieutenant General, which is the highest rank in the Corps of Signals. So I became the head of Telecom and IT, where it was my responsibility to plan, execute and operate, all three put into one. So I was doing that, and my field force was approximately 1 lakh people.
Oh my God.
So that was
You mean the infantry is how you define? No.
No, signals is 1 lakh people.
Okay.
Infantry is about 4 lakhs.
Oh my God.
So I was heading that 1 lakh people.
How does it go? It's so intriguing to know, but how does it work around managing telecom and IT for army sector? Like, is it a different world of management because they have different devices?
They have different devices in the sense that their security requirements are imperative, but they also have the advantage of not bothering too much about commercials, about ROIs. For them, national security is important, so we implement what we think is correct without really thinking of how much return we'll get.
Okay.
We are not getting any return, not in terms of money.
So it was out and out investment to make the security a priority.
Yes, and then our requirements are a little different than civil.
Yes, I wanted to know that.
Yeah.
What kind of requirements do they have?
We have two types of requirements. One is during peacetime. Peacetime, it is more or less the way it is with civil. We have our own networks. We collaborate with civil networks. We use civil networks also. And where only we are predominantly present, the civil networks rely on us. For example, Leh Ladakh, they use our fiber.
Okay.
So, but what we are geared up for is wartime communications. Now, wartime communication is a different ball game altogether.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah, because when we have a war with an enemy, that time there are certain parameters for which communications have to be given.
Encryption is really important.
Encryption is a given.
Okay.
But more important than encryption is first rolling out a network. Because when we go to war on the borders, we don't have networks of the type that we want.
But wars are not planned, it suddenly happens.
Wars are not planned, that is the entire thing. Then we have mobile networks, which are based on vehicles. and those vehicles then roll out, even at times in front of infantry, but before infantry, go and set up a communication grid, which is high quality, and they provide communications to the advancing troops, right? And then we also have a task to see that the enemy's communication gets degraded. So it's not that we only provided communications, but we also degrade the enemy's communication. So that is quite a task, and that task is very different from what we do in civil, because that set of equipment and that engineering that network.
So it has more innovation, more R&D towards the devices that are used in telecommunication space in the army area than a civil area.
Innovations to an extent we use, but we use the same equipment. We use the same technology what civil uses, and we also use. See, I'll tell you, our inventory is 40% inventory which is obsolescent, which is going to go out in the next few years, and about
60%.
About 50% is current.
Okay.
And balance is new technology which is emerging on the space.
Pretty small portion there for the new technology.
Obviously, because unless the new technology gets implemented and proven,
you cannot take on to it for
we
the
cannot
security
take
issue.
We cannot.
There are no trial and errors at
No, we can't.
the space.
Because then lives are involved.
Understanding the telecommunication world now, we have been growing very fast from 5G. We're talking about 6G today. Just the rollout plan has been successful for 5G. How are you looking out the way we are prepared for this implementation? Because one is having a vision, second is having an implementation practical plan, and third is adapting with the consumers.
In the civil?
In the civil.
Okay. There are two things. One is when you are planning 5G networks, we have to grapple with one factor, and that is this is the first type of technology where human beings and machines talk to each other.
Okay.
Sensors.
So it is AI driven partially?
It is partially AI driven, but the technology per se without AI also is where humans and sensors communicate with each other. So IoT gets subsumed in the network.
Okay.
So therefore the challenges are different. Challenges are different, and the commercial outlays are different. They are higher. The paradigm shift is in 5G. If you as a customer want something for your application to run, you just have to tell the telco that I want this in form of output, not in form of technology.
Okay.
I want this to happen. 5G will make it happen.
For example?
For example, if you are running a hospital, you couldn't care what type of technology we use, but you want robotics to work online, for example. So you tell the telco, I want my operation theatre to be fully automated.
Okay.
And I want robotic surgeries to be done online.
Okay.
Now this
so
was
a real time.
Yeah. So we will engineer the networks which will make it happen. But up to 4G that was not possible. Up to 4G what we were saying, that this is the network, these are the parameters of this network, these are the qualities of this network. You tailor your applications around this.
Okay.
So there was a restriction. Now that restriction
it has reversed. Your
reversed.
application
Yes.
is your choice,
Yes.
your result is your choice, and we
Yes.
tailor the network around.
Yes. And see the implication, the commercial implication is that telecom now has become horizontal.
Okay.
And all other verticals can derive benefit out of telecom, which is not so earlier. Earlier telecom was another vertical, not now. Now it's a sort of a foundation. Which
So going to 6G from here is gonna be a progress from 5G again,
Yes.
carrying forward all the benefits you've been defining to a new.
This is 6G is a progression of 5G.
Okay.
Much like 3G was a progression of
4G was a progression of 3G.
5G was not a progression of 4G.
It was a complete. It seems
New
like a
technology.
revolution or a complete
New technology
scale,
altogether.
new technology.
Yeah. But 6G is going to be a progression. So migrating to 6G will be easier, but the applications will be much more complex.
So as you beautifully said, telecom has become, it was linear, but it has become a base for every other application sector and different models to work on. We have this OTT world going around. We have this telecom world, telephones being used for the OTT devices. Nobody watches OTT in a cinema. It's a TV driven thing, or a phone now. Digital media is phone. So how do you work around it in a collaborated manner? Coexistence is happening peacefully, or is it going to be a friction commercially, non-commercially?
We have issues there. I'll tell you very frankly, because OTTs, and especially the bigger ones, biggest 4 or 5 OTTs of the world, they generate about 70 to 80% of the traffic which we have to carry on our networks. Balance is our own traffic. But to carry that traffic, we have to have very high grade networks.
Yes.
And to have that type of networks, especially to carry video, requires a huge amount of investment.
Yes.
Okay. Now they don't contribute anything, but they derive benefit out of these networks. Okay. So telcos, the TSPs start rolling out networks, and the OTT applications, especially bigger ones, derive profit out of that without paying for building the infrastructure. So that has been our ask, that okay, OTT is a nascent field. It is only about 4 to 5 years old. So initially it was a learning phase. Now,
Exactly. Why didn't you call out for it initially? Were you not seeing this happen?
no, because initially the traffic loading was not so much.
So was it not anticipated they could boom
No,
out to be as big as they?
this was catalyzed by COVID,
Yes.
because when you started working from home, that is the time there was a huge fillip.
So you think OTTs have got a major boost because of people being at home and having the ample time to. The shift in the whole mode has happened because of COVID to an extent.
Because of COVID. But the discrepancy which we are pointing out is that the telecom space is highly regulated. It has always, for the last 25 years,
Yes.
it's been regulated. So we try to give whatever we give to the consumer, which is secure and which can be authenticated. Whereas OTT is absolutely not regulated.
I think in the garb of being a new space, it has not been
It's not
put under
regulated,
any
yeah.
checks and balance.
Yes. So whenever new technology comes, these things will happen till the time the policy catches up.
Are we ready for finding a solution?
Yeah,
towards it?
we've been clamoring for it. We've been saying that if they're giving the same service, they should be governed by the same rules.
Yes.
Now, the same service would mean, for example, text and voice, like you yourself said. So, and we are both of us are running on the OSI 7-layer stack. We have to build all the 7 layers. They come on the 7th layer and offer their offerings. We build 7 layers and then make our offerings on the same layer. So they should also be governed by the same. Now tell me, if you are scammed by a fraudster, you couldn't care whether the call came over OTT or over telecom. You couldn't care. You want that.
I just
scam
care about what has went wrong. I want it fixed.
Yes, this is exactly what we are saying. That if you are regulating us to see that the consumer doesn't get scammed, do the same for OTT.
I hope people don't look at it that the success has kind of intimidated the telecom sector. Has it happened so?
Well, no, it has
Success
not
in a very short
intimidated.
time.
It is a catch-22 situation, to be frank. OTT has generated large amount of consumers who then become our subscribers. So if we offload OTT totally,
Then also you
then
make a loss.
We lose. And if we increase the tariffs, we have done a mathematical study. We require about 50 crore new subscribers every year to make up the loss. For
Which is
example,
unrealistic to gather.
which is 50 crores or 130 crore
130.
every
We
year.
have to increase
year
the
on year.
population too.
It's not
There's
possible.
no way.
And even if you double the tariff, which we are not wanting to do, even then, even getting 20 crores, 30 crores is not possible. So the only answer is that the infrastructure costing should be shared.
It's a very interesting way to understand things, but to make it light, now you run me through your personal journey and understanding
Yeah, sure.
your first phone or
My-
first gadget which you had in your life.
First gadget.
Yes.
Oh, when I got into the telecom space, we didn't have all these fancy things.
Yeah,
you
no
know.
smartphones, no iPads, nothing.
Not even that rotary phone.
What did you talk with? Walkie-talkie?
We had walkie-talkie kahan? We had that magnetophone. So I still remember a green color phone connected over cable, and you had to rotate the handle. That rotated a generator inside, and that generated a small current which went over the lines and rang a bell at the other end. at the exchange. And
How
then
it would take a longer time.
it obviously will take a longer time. Plus, the operator had to come in. Then he'll ask you, whom do you want to talk to? So that sort of thing. We started with that, and we come a very long way now.
And after that, what was the first phone that you held in your hand?
Then we went into rotary phones,
Yes.
dial phones, then punch phones.
Yes.
But the services were very difficult to get, and having a phone in your house was
It's a
actually
luxury.
status.
Yeah,
symbol.
status.
And there used to be one phone in a lane, and everybody used
Everybody
to
would line up to get a call.
Yes. So, and then of course the mobiles came in, but again they were not.
They took time to get updated to what we have today.
Possibly people have forgotten pages.
Yes.
When the pages came in, people said pages will survive, mobiles will die. But pages died off, and mobiles survived.
Today, if you have to select even in IMC, at IMC when we are here, which are the most interesting innovations you have identified that took you aback and be like, we've come to this level?
See, now the innovations which are being fielded are mostly in a space which is dictated by AI and ML. I hope it doesn't go the .com way, where we had a lot of
Yes.
some people have already started saying that AI is overhyped, and we are not in a position to take as much advantage as the academicians talk about.
So the last thing, can I quick ask you a few questions, like one word you answer me? How many calls you take in a day? In your memory, you think? How much time you're spending on phone?
Phone has become, addictive.
So there's no calculation?
Even if you're not getting a call, you then go online and see, "Arey, kya hai?"
So you have the knack to going on the phone and
Yeah,
seeing.
yeah.
Yeah, and which is the app you use the most?
I'll be doing disservice when I am telling that OTT should be governed, but obviously WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. So they've got to everyone now. Thank you so much, General Kochaar. It was really nice. In fact, we can go on knowing more about your Army Day stories and more about it. But telecom world, you've seen the whole generation. It's like you've seen the birth.
No, I've seen one generation earlier also in Army, and that is semaphore, which people don't talk about now.
SEMA phones.
The
What
flags.
is it? Oh.
So we use that. Then we went to Morse code. Dick, dick, da, 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 that. And then
Do you have any memory pictures of that? Do send it to us. We would love to put that through people to understand these things exist. Anything you have with that?
incidentally, Morse is still being used as a resilient technology which will outlive even nuclear attacks.
Oh.
So that is something which is good.
Thank you so much, General Kochaar, for your time,
Thank
for your
you.
understanding and taking us back to where we came from.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.